Nice. That was a solid clap.
Just call me Sean, the clapper.
Just got right in there.
Clapper.
Clapper. They call me Clamps.
I got the clap. You got the clap. Okay.
Welcome to Stay Indoors. Well, Sean, you're just right on my butt there.
Yeah.
So today I actually had a cool piece of news that I found out about. I think it happened while we were camping because we took a week off.
We're back.
Something that I thought was kind of neat. I don't know how much we have to talk about it. It might turn into a whole thing. It might be brief because we do that. But I thought it was really cool. So last year there was a guy, I've forgotten his name unfortunately, but there was a guy who worked on he was making like a Metroid 2 remake. It was called AM2R. It was just like, I think it was just called that, a Metroid 2 remake.
Okay.
And it was really cool apparently, and he like put it online and people were like really enjoying it and stuff. And then Nintendo came at him and was like, hey, nope, can't do that, because Nintendo's like really hard on the fan games, right?
Yeah.
They shut those down right quick.
Super Quest.
And like Nintendo is probably a company more than anybody else who has fan games made of their games.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, look at Axiom Verge, right? It's basically a fan
Metroid,
game
yeah.
of their of Castlevania.
Well, Castlevania is Konami.
Oh, well, I mean, just like I'm a Metroidvania, you know what I mean. Super
And yeah.
Metroidvania.
There it is. The genre.
the genre.
Yeah.
But it's got a very Metroid aesthetic too. But yeah, he was like making Metroid 2
Yeah.
again to post online for people. Nintendo said, no, can't do that anymore, whatever. But that guy just got hired by the studio that does Ori to work on the Ori sequel.
Oh,
okay.
Which I think is really cool to help with their level design and stuff, because obviously like the Ori series is it's Metroidvania, it's very inspired by the Metroid games. And so I thought that was really cool, because fan games normally just kind of end with like, we tried to make a game and it got shut down. And this wasn't Nintendo working with this guy, but it was...
It's a good developer.
It's a good developer, and it was clearly his work on the fan game that drew their attention, because it's in the same genre.
Yeah.
I was just kind of wondering your guys' thoughts on fan games and...
Fan games? I like fan games. But, like, I remember there's a Half-Life remake being made in the Source engine, because basically what happened when the first Half-Life came out, it was made, I can't remember what engine, I think it might have been Unreal. It was made in one of those engines, and it, like, looked dated. It was made in, like, 96, 97.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay.
And then Half-Life 2 came out in, like, I think 2007, 2006, and it was made in this new engine, the Source engine, which was made by Steam, made by Valve, the company. And so they kind of, like, really kept vamping up the Source engine and kept adding to it. And I think it's, like, on its third version now. And then a fan was basically took the tools and was remaking the first Half-Life from the ground up in the Source, and they're calling it Half-Life Black Mesa, or Black Mesa Source. And it was really, really good, but I think he completed the project, posted it, and then they shut it down.
Yeah.
Like, and people, I was like looking forward to it for like years.
The funny thing is, I find that like a lot of the time where I hear about these fan-made games being shut down, it's always in the last phase of it. Like, it's like the game gets like kickstarted and crowdfunded, they get money for it, they develop it, they hire a team, all this kind of stuff, and then it's like the week of release, and then you hear like Nintendo shut down this or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, you assholes.
Well, a lot of them are done like by one guy too, right? Like one or two, like a small team, and they're just kind of doing it in their spare time.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things is that, like you said, this Black Mesa Source got released and then shut down.
I think it got released, but it was supposed to be released for free.
Yeah.
Like, or whatever.
Well, because one of the things is that with a game like that, a fan-made game, they're obviously trying to protect their IP, right? Like, they can't have somebody releasing a game for free. It's basically their game.
Assets.
That's all their assets, all the work they've done. So I that makes sense. Like, I understand why they do it.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, it could be... If it's better than the game that you made, that looks bad on your company.
Yeah.
And if it's worse, then it still looks bad on your company because somebody could get that confused with your product.
With your product,
right? So it's really damaging to your IP either way. It's just not good for you to have that out there. And plus, the way like the legal rights work and stuff is if you don't go after one fan game, if you think that that's fine, But then there's another somebody who tries to make money off your thing, but
Exactly.
you didn't go after the first one. You don't have a legal precedent to go after the second one, and then you can lose your IP, and like that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I get why they do it, but the thing you were saying about how it was released is a game like that is out there somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if it got to the point where it's released, you can find it.
Yeah,
pretty
I'm
sure.
sure.
It's on the internet.
It may not have
Something
gotten
like
released.
that.
I may be a fuzzy on that detail, but I'm almost certain that it did,
Yeah.
or it was pretty close.
But still, if it was, like, yeah.
You can
would
find
be,
it, and that's one of the
well,
things that a lot of times with these games, people announce it like before it's out,
yeah,
and then they get shut down, right? Because Nintendo knows about it, or whoever knows about it,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, well, you can't release that game.
Yeah.
But if you release the game, they shut it down. It's out there. Somebody has it, right?
somebody's
Yeah.
playing.
Which I just think is kind of crazy, and like it sucks
on the
because
deep web.
it's on the deep web, man.
Yeah, man. Get a torchlight. Go find it.
I think it
I've done
sucks from the standpoint of like these people love these projects obviously, and like they
Yeah.
love games, and they're doing it because they want to see more of that franchise, and I think it sucks that they get shut down. But like you kind of know, like you're playing with fire when you do it, right? Like that's
This happens like every year to Pokemon games.
yeah.
Every year, like
was,
there's
like,
always a
Uranium a year or
fan
two
made. Yeah,
ago.
there's always a fan made Pokemon game being developed, and I think they get made a lot just because the actual concept of especially like Pokemon games pre 3DS are very simple and pretty standard, right? And all of them carry the same formula. So a lot of these new versions of them, people were just like, we want one that's a little more based on story, or like we want to create like our own Pokemon and like throw them in there, and like so they're not like they would sometimes some of these games would also have some of the original Pokemon in them too. But like a lot of time it was like we just want to add, like it was almost more of a not, it wasn't a mod, but I almost looked at it more of a mod because it was just like, we like your game, we're gonna just want to put like our own fucking imaginative stuff in there.
Yeah,
That's actually an interesting question of like
modding.
why are mods okay and fan games aren't?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of odd, and especially if you're releasing it for free. Obviously, if
Like-
you're charging for a fan game, that's a problem because you're making money off of somebody
Yeah.
else's like work, right?
Yeah.
wasn't Blood Dragon like that Far Cry 3 game? Was that not a fan game?
I don't think so.
I know it was definitely a mod.
It was like a standalone DLC
well,
situation.
I
I don't
think-
think it was
is
a
that
mod.
what it was?
Yeah.
To me, the difference is pretty quite clear because with mods, basically, if a company like, we'll take Bethesda for example, who just goes like, yeah, use mods.
It was developed by Ubisoft, yeah.
They're like openly saying like yeah, go ahead and make things for our game. You might make it, but like you might make it less like better or worse, right? But like go ahead, like we are openly allowing you to use mods and like use them at your own discretion,
Yeah.
right? Well, when someone's making a fan made game, they're building it from the ground up, and then there's also that whole like misunderstanding of like that's not actually our game, and like so if it's shitty, it's like
Yeah.
you know.
Well, like you could argue that mods are part of the experience, while fan-made game is a copy of the experience, and therefore not a legitimate means of your intellectual property. Like games can be modded, right? There's always going to be a modding community in video games, and like Bethesda, for instance, is opening up to the modification of that community. So it's like that's something that they've been like, okay, go ahead if you want to make a Mario version of Skyrim, it's out there, you can make that because we're allowing that, right?
But no, that's the thing that, like, obviously the industry's views on mods and fan games are different.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking from an objective intellectual standpoint, how different are they, right?
How different?
Because if somebody's
Yeah.
making something like a Pokemon Uranium, and they're basically like, I want to make a Pokemon game that's like got more story and more of my own Pokemon
Yeah.
that I invented, versus if Nintendo allowed mods and you went, hey, I want to make a game that's got like, I want to make like a mod for Pokemon Uranium and like add my own Pokemon,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
right? And
That's
then
true.
and then you could argue that somebody who doesn't do the research, because we're in that weird place, right? We're like, we look stuff up. We're like, oh, that's a weird thing about gaming, but there is a part of gaming culture where people are just kind of like, oh, there's a Pokemon game, I guess, whatever.
Sweet.
And you could argue that somebody might go like, oh, they like Nintendo made new Pokemon, if like those mods were a thing, right? Somebody might play Skyrim and think that those armor sets were developed by Bethesda,
Yeah.
That's
like
true.
from an outside
It
perspective.
does kind of totally depend on the knowledge of the consumer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think it's funny that like mods have been embraced for the most part by the industry. Not all games have mods available.
Yeah.
But basically a
They're
game on PC
tolerated
can
at
be
least.
modded
Yeah.
in any way, and it's like, okay, Like, sure, they've just decided that they're too hard to shut down, I guess, and made it okay.
Well, yeah.
But fan games is like a no-go, and I think it's funny because in a lot of ways a fan game could start as a mod, right? Like, it's not even necessarily built from the ground up. It's like, oh, I took a bunch of the assets and kind of did a new spin on them.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
And I just think that's interesting. Like, I remember when Arkham Origins first came out, a bunch of people were posting, because I was on the forums for that, and a bunch of people were posting like the mods they were making and mods that they were finding and stuff, and some of them were just like simple stuff. They're adding the costumes, like other Batman costumes that weren't actually in the game.
Oh, neat.
As mods, right? And so somebody might see a screenshot and think that that's in the game.
Yeah.
Well, even Arkham City, PC mod had it so you could play as Nightwing and Robin
in the free roam.
In the free roam.
But that's not.
And like for the longest time, I was like, "How do you do that?" Like I saw a picture and I was like, "What?" And then it was like PC mod. I'm like, damn it.
And then another one is like they can't use any licensed things, right? There's no Coca-Cola billboards or anything like that.
Yeah.
But some people like to add those because they think that it makes like the world feel more real.
Yeah.
And so there's screenshots out there of like Coca-Cola billboards and like Pepsi ads and whatever in Arkham
Adidas,
Origins.
Nike.
Yeah, just like around. Like it's not for me, but some people do that. And then somebody might see that and say, "Whoa, there's like all these like real life posters or whatever in the game."
That breaks my immersion, I think.
No, totally, me too.
And then and then Coca-Cola sees that and they go like, "Hey, they didn't have the rights to put our ad in their game or whatever."
How dare they give us free advertising in our game? We have to pay for that.
Yeah, but that premise.
No, I totally get that.
And it's weird because it's mods. Everybody's just kind of like, yeah, mods are just mods.
Yeah, it's weird that like I totally understand what you're saying. Like it's kind of this strange juxtaposition. Or
I think for some reason it's easier to take offense when someone makes a fan version of your game. Like it's like your game. You're not making more of them, or yours wasn't good enough, so I'm gonna make my own. When mods just kind of like, I want to adjust my experience a little bit, but I still want to play your game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, for the most part, they're basically the same thing, but I feel like that's a weird context that's given to each of them.
No, I can totally see
at least
that
from the
as being
developer
like
standpoint. Maybe.
Yeah, well, there's the developer and then there's the publisher, right? The developer is thinking like, I mean, I bet you a lot of developers are like, oh, cool, like. Somebody who worked on Pokemon, there's probably a half a dozen people at least at the Pokemon company who are like, oh, cool, people want to make Pokemon games. Like, that's why I work here, is because I want to make Pokemon games, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Let's hire them.
Nobody who works at the Pokemon company, like, owns the license. Like, none of the developers own Pokemon.
Yeah.
They're making fan games.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Sort of, yeah.
That
if you think about it.
That are just...
They were named the Pokemon company
that are,
for
like,
a reason.
licensed by the people who own the name, but it's like, they're Pokemon fans who are making a game.
Yeah.
They just weren't given permission by... the company.
Exactly.
It's a weird workaround that the industry's in now.
Yeah.
Is that it's now been around long enough that you have fans making games now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is
it's kind of like, I don't want to go on a tangent, but it's kind of how I feel about comic books too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
Like,
well, there's a bunch of industries that are now in
like none of the big superheroes are like still written by the people who invented them.
No,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They've been written by so many different people. Like the people now are fans, and so you're gonna get some comic books that are published by Marvel or published by DC that feel like bad fan fiction, and it's because they're bad fan fiction.
I always laugh.
Yep.
I always laugh when like a new Marvel movie comes out or like a new Marvel like animated thing, and it always says like co-produced by Stan Lee, and I'm like, bullshit. They're just putting his name on there. There's no fucking way he's doing anything right now.
Well, I think because being a producer also has to do with like money or funding or like whatever.
So he might have said like, yeah, sure, do it.
Yeah.
I don't like that was.
and I think that's it. To be honest.
That's exactly it. They have to just get his signature.
And I also think that because of the sort of name that Stan Lee has, just like on that point.
Oh no.
I think there's a certain amount of just like. You put it on, it creates this sense of consistency and like whatever, and like you're officially saying that Stan Lee signed off on it, even if it was literally like, hey Stan, we're making another movie. He's like, okay, fun, whatever.
Yeah.
What? I can't stop you.
Yeah, but then the fact that he said that, it makes it seem more legitimate and like give this feeling to it.
George Lucas should have taken some notes.
Whoa.
Ayo.
Ayo. Yeah, he should have. He should have fucking like.
No, I had another point earlier, and I'm trying to remember what the fuck it was.
Let's figure that out.
It was about fan-made games, and it was like right at the beginning. And I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
It's just such a like game making in general is such like a weird thing. Like if you think about like how Assassin's Creed started as a Prince of Persia,
I can't remember.
and then like just like games in general, like how you get like one concept and like I want to make a Metroidvania, and then it ends up feeling and looking like Metroid. For instance, it's like, you know what I mean? Like game making is just so strange.
Like Brennan, what's your point?
The example I was going to bring up was Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley is a great example.
It's probably the biggest fan-made game. Like, and I don't like, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I could just be uneducated on it, but I've never heard any backlash from the original Harvest Moon creators being like,
because it's not really Harvest
Moon.
No,
it's much more original. But like, Stardew Valley is also openly like a fan. Like, people made it because they really liked Harvest Moon and they wanted to make like their own version of the game, and they really liked it, and so it is openly a fan-made game, but it's been accepted.
Well, that one I think is because it's not called Harvest Moon, and it doesn't have any like directly recycled assets.
Yeah.
Right?
No, exactly.
Like this guy, the guy who got hired to work on Ori, his game was called a Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah.
People who make a Pokemon fan game, it's Pokemon Uranium. There was that one where people were trying to basically make the Star Wars Battlefront that we never got.
Yeah.
Right? And they called it Star Wars Galactic Conquest or Star Wars Galaxy.
Maybe that's
whatever.
where they're just fucking up. Like, fan-made games are cool, but why are you making like an identical copy?
I think that's the thing. And they said,
that's the problem.
I don't know if it'll go anywhere, but they have said that originally that they were gonna like try to change some of their assets and like use the same mechanics and just make like a space battle game that isn't Star Wars.
It does seem odd to me to make a fan-made game just because you want the aesthetic of whatever it is. Like, you want to make like a Mario game, but you still want to use like a red plumber. Like just make the gameplay make a similar game.
Banjo-Kazooie and ukulele.
Right? Like there's so many other platformers that are like
9.
Mario that use a different protagonist or different characters or different worlds or whatever, but still mechanically play the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's Stardew Valley is a good example of. It's that mechanically and from a gameplay standpoint, it's very much like Harvest Moon, and that's why people loved it and went for it.
Crops.
But visually and like the way it's set up, and even some of the game concepts they put into it are totally original and totally new, and like don't have anything to do with Harvest Moon.
Totally.
But that said, I do know a few people who are like, is this a new Harvest Moon game? Like, what the hell? Like, they actually thought it was, but I think that was more just because like it's just like Harvest Moon.
That's actually a good place to sort of segue.
Oh, is it?
Because there's a couple things that happened or are happening that got announced recently. Lawbreakers came out.
Yeah.
Which is something that I want to talk about.
How did it do?
Why haven't we played it yet?
Not very well, and that's the thing that I want to get to.
Oh, no. What? It's because we weren't there.
It's because we weren't there. And the other thing is that Valve announced a new game.
A new game?
A new game.
Oh. Or like a game they've already been making before.
No, it's a new game.
Oh.
It's called Artifacts, the Dota card game.
Why does everybody have a fucking card game?
Yeah. And this is something that I wanted to sort of bring up, and the reason that I'm bringing it up with both of those topics at the same time is because the angle that I want to go at this from originally is very similar, is that Lawbreakers kind of brings up the topic of games like Paladins and the sort of hero shooter that Overwatch sort of recently popularized.
Almost MOBA.
The almost first-person shooter MOBA.
And games are getting criticized for being Overwatch clones, even when they're not like Overwatch.
Yeah.
And then also I've seen people talk about how, like, oh, they're making a Dota card game, and it's like they're just making Hearthstone. But apparently what's kind of cool is that this game has lanes. Like, it's a card game with lanes.
Oh, cool.
Which I think is kind of neat.
So kind of like Gwent.
Kind of like how Gwent has its like rows.
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly it plays, obviously. I don't think they showed off really gameplay yet. But so it's not just a regular card game. There's something to it that's different and unique. And that's the thing that I want to know how you guys feel about, because for me, it seems weird because we don't say every game, every first-person shooter is like a Doom clone, right?
Yeah, right. Like,
I feel like we're creating new genres, and because we're in the first stages, people are calling them clones. But they're different, and they just use similar elements, and that's something that is in game design.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of games like Overwatch.
There's
a lot of games like Overwatch.
You have a class-based shooter, and suddenly you're a clone? Like, What? Okay, so Overwatch took the idea of class base, right? You've got your tanks, you've got your fucking support, defense, and offense heroes. And then you just vary them all, give them all unique abilities, and then you've got different characters. So the moment someone else does that in a first-person setting, they're a clone. Like, I understand right now that Overwatch has a fucking stranglehold on the market, so any other game come out might seem to saturate it,
They
but
just
not
did it
really.
well.
Yeah.
They just made a really fun game, like, and I don't blame Blizzard for doing that. I fucking like Overwatch a lot, so good on them. But like, I'm very intrigued by Lawbreakers because I think it's gonna be completely different. But that's the thing, is right, just because you have heroes who have abilities, it's gonna be the same. Like, what about the pace and those are things I look for more in like a first person shooter. Like, when I want to play Halo, I'll play Halo because it's not gonna play like Overwatch. Like, you have a different walk speed, there's a different like kill time, there's a different like level playing field, like everyone's kind of the same, so like that's what you go for.
I think a lot of people don't understand that like the thing that makes Overwatch stand out is its gameplay, not its like heroes and like the basic idea of the game.
Well, the heroes
like,
are part of the game.
They are part of the game, but I feel like it, like, the reason why it stands out so much is not only is it a very cool first-person shooter character game, but it's also like an objective-based, and the flow of it is really awesome, and just like the game itself is just very smooth. It's just a very well developed game.
That's true. I would argue that in Overwatch's case, one of the reasons that Overwatch became as big as it did is because of its strong focus on its characters.
No, I would agree.
Because you can get attached to them, and like when I play, like, I feel good playing as Genji, not because of anything else, but because I like the character of Genji, right?
He also plays well.
No, I like his gameplay. I'm not saying that the gameplay isn't important.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the reason that Overwatch went like above and beyond in terms of its like market reach,
every character feels
is
like
because every character feels
like
their
those.
gameplay feels good.
Yeah.
But they also have these personalities that you can attach to.
But I think much like a lot of these other games, like the hype when they're marketing in the beginning, when they are kind of focusing on these characters and the world that you'll be playing in, when the game then comes out, they don't follow through with really good feeling gameplay. When Overwatch, you're like remember when we bought Overwatch at Battleborn, and like we were basically split in the middle as a group. We're like, I like Overwatch more, I like Battleborn more, and then like we all went to Overwatch because like it just plays smoother. It is a different style game, Battleborn, granted.
Yeah,
But
that's also a tough one, because like I would still like, I really liked Battleborn and I would still play it. It's just that like nobody of our group does, so like I'd be playing it by myself, and because it died, like there's
no one else is
there's
playing
no
it.
people
It's
to play
free
it with
play right now.
online. Yeah, I know.
already
It's
sold
just,
my copy.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, and you know what I got for it? $2. I should have just kept it.
You paid full price for that, right?
Yeah, I did. I got a little.
But all I'm saying is that like Overwatch, like people tend to like take a portion of it and be like, stop copying Overwatch, you have that same thing. But it's like Overwatch is good because of all these things, and it's just weird.
Well, because of a variety of things, but like from what I've seen of Lawbreakers, I can't imagine how you would confuse those two games just because there's heroes. It's like saying that fucking what's that game with the Evolve. It's like saying that Evolve is like Overwatch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's an objective
Unreal
and there's
Tournament?
different classes.
Classes.
Unreal Tournament was what Lawbreakers is trying to
Unreal
do.
Tournament was like, it could be third person or first person, but it was like a character-based, class-based game. The objective and gameplay style is quite a bit different, but still, like...
That's the guy who made Unreal Tournament made Lawbreakers.
Yeah.
And we're saying that Lawbreakers is a clone of Overwatch, where Overwatch derived a lot of first-person shooters that have to do with an arena can borrow from Unreal Tournament. So like it's just funny that we're saying that like they're all clones.
That's kind of the point, is that their games are all iterative, right?
Yes.
If a game figures out how to do, say, first-person shooting well, other games that are first-person shooters should do that. Like that's something that we want. Yeah. We want them to stand on each other's shoulders so the games get better.
I think Overwatch just like it also like pulls from the like superhero trend as well, right? So it's a character base, but then it also like from its music, from its character design, all that kind of stuff. Which ironically, not a lot of the characters in Overwatch actually have superpowers specifically, but still, like they're still.
But it's got a very superhero.
They're all
vibe.
they're superheroes.
It's got the comic book like style things, and they've released
There are
comics for
comics,
it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very much cashing in on the current craze of superheroes, even
So
if they're
just-
not all super powered.
They just
Yeah.
from a design and marketing standpoint, that was smart.
No,
But
totally.
Again,
Exactly.
like they're just really well
Yeah,
designed
you've got a
characters.
cyborg
and-
ninja, like superhero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. I
You
love
know,
it.
it's dope.
Reaper.
Like when
is
the
the
Arkham
villain.
games started to become popular, and like you started to see that kind of counter-based free flow combat show up everywhere. A lot of people were like, oh, the game's like a clone of Arkham City, but like Shadow of War no, Shadow of Mordor is the first one.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor, yeah. Fuck. Shadow of
You'll get there
Mordor
eventually.
is not a clone of Arkham City. It uses the same combat because the combat is good and
Because
fun.
the
Yeah.
combat made sense for both games.
For both games. Like, Rocksteady made it, and then, or like at least popularized it, I guess, and made it smooth and better, and kind of worked out the kinks and made it fucking a solid combat system.
Yeah.
And other games are like, hey, we want like a freestyle combat system where you can engage with multiple enemies and feel like a badass. We could try to figure out how to do that from the ground up, or we could spend our time building the Nemesis system because Rocksteady already made a really
Yeah.
fucking good combat system.
Yeah.
And we'll just do that.
Yeah.
And we'll just borrow
And they
it.
tweak it and they change things to make it fit their game more.
Exactly. Like,
And then you're fucking good.
yeah. Oh,
I
why don't
got,
you have
I,
a
got,
bow
I,
and
got, I
arrow?
got an interesting scenario for you. So
Okay.
I'm gonna break this down to its real basic
You gotta
mechanics.
law break it.
So I'm gonna law break.
Boom.
So, in the overall inventing world, like not just in video games, like when you can do this the whole time, yeah. All right. In the inventing world, when someone creates or builds something, and say it's something that like it's been built before, but this is their own original version of it.
Four. Yeah.
And they build a part of it that works super fucking well, and it does better than the other things, right? They usually put a patent on it, right? They build a cool mechanism, or part of that mechanism, they put a patent on it, so no one else can use it. Do you think that this could be that system would work in the video game industry?
That's a really fucking cool question.
So the idea, I mean, because ideally, if
I hope it doesn't.
I don't
hope
actually
it
know.
doesn't,
I
yeah.
don't actually know exactly how the laws work with patents. From my understanding, the idea is like if you were to like design and build one yourself without understanding like this original one, that you could also use it. But if you wanted to just straight up use that guy's mechanisms because like it fucking works well, and you want to use it in your machine, you have to pay for the patent and then use that thing in your machine. So if a developer wanted to just go, the fucking fight combat in the Arkham games works really well, I'm just gonna pay for that patent and put that into my game.
Okay, Brandon, you're blowing my mind right now because I just thought of like I think that the games industry has gone to a place where this would never happen because the emphasis is on publishers and not developers.
Yeah.
Did-
In
True.
terms of how the marketplace works.
Yes.
But I just thought of a way that like in an alternate reality that could be totally different. Okay. This just blew my mind, man.
Super excited.
Imagine that system where like mechanics are kind of patented, and developers, there's like a whole subset of developers who don't make games. They make mechanics and they make systems. And then other kinds of developers, like game makers, buy up a couple different ones, kind of like how like engines, right? Like there's a couple different engines that like every AAA game runs on.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Well,
Unreal,
now
Frostbite,
that
Source,
exactly.
like maybe a couple others, but like almost every AAA game runs on like up to 5 engines for the most part,
Yeah.
right? Imagine if like mechanics were kind of like that, right? And developers are like, hey, we bait this combat system, and then obviously the permutations would be covered under the patent, like different
Like people
ways that
create
work, whatever.
mechanics within an engine, and then you buy those patents for the engine you're using.
Yeah, and then oh, that would be crazy. I don't know if that would work, but like
Either
it's
way-
such a cool thought.
Yeah, there is like
It's cool.
yeah,
Because then technically I could go in and be like, I'm just going to buy all these things, shove a game, and put geometry on it. Boom, boom, done. Just fucking
Yeah.
put it in my box that would not run well. It would
But
be
I'm
a
just
Exactly,
saying,
that's the
shitty
thing. Is
run
like because
game.
then you still have to figure out how to get because part of the game design or whatever is making the different elements work together well, right? Like when Shadow of Mordor takes the games and the combats and whatever,
It's got the Assassin's Creed.
but then it
kind of,
also
running.
has the climbing and stuff. It doesn't play like how Batman does, so it's got to like work its stealth elements into its combat elements, and then that has to work into the Nemesis system in terms of like, oh, if you weaken this guy, you can then brand him and use him for this, and then that's the war chief, so you got to conquer him, and then he's vulnerable or immune to certain attacks that are in your combat system, and those two things play against each other, and that's how it's different from the Arkham system, right? But at the base, it's still like you interact with it on the surface level in a very similar way.
True. Yeah, please read Brandon Sanderson's novel Mistborn. We really like them.
I haven't, but you should.
Brandon hasn't. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, if everybody can only burn a couple metals, and then you have to, like, as you go through the level, it's like, okay, we need the copper cloud now for the stealth, and then, like, we need this now for that, and then, like, oh, let's let the pusher move that thing, and like,
yeah, it would be a really fun video game.
it would be so good.
It would. I really want someone to make it.
I want somebody to pull a Witcher and just make like a game based on this.
Oh, I think you would be so into it. He's made a fucking tabletop game. Or he helped, anyway.
Grant Sanderson.
Yep.
Anyways, I would also agree that I don't think that this patent thing would work.
Yeah, I don't know if it would. It just like was blowing my mind.
Or publishers would like let it happen.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't really want it to happen with how games are made right now.
No, because I think as soon as you put that patent system in, I think it also kind of takes away the motivation to create your own mechanics.
Well, not only that,
well.
it's going to be like, you know, you're going to get into so many lawsuits where someone like makes it in their engine and it's different a little bit, but it looks the same and plays the same, but it like has different subsystems running. And they're like, well, what you totally stole our patent. It's like, well, no, we had to make our whole new thing because your thing wouldn't support the subsystems that we have running, like our super intense combo system. Right?
Yeah, no,
like,
I don't think it would work either. I just like,
I think it's cool.
It's just like blew my mind, like that even basic idea. I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
if that was like a thing, right? But yeah, I don't think it would actually, because I think you're right in that it would hamper people's sort of need or desire to make their own system.
Like, it's cool to see games come out and they like try to like take a system like the Combat in Arkham and then try to do like their own thing.
And it's
like,
still
they
its
want to
own
replicate
thing,
it, but then also kind of like adjust it to make it work for their game.
No,
right?
totally.
True.
I was just thinking like, oh man.
When like if you had a patent, you may not necessarily be able to do that.
Yeah.
You might have to just like.
Or you might end up. Yeah, like if you're working on something, depending on how much it costs, you might end up like not wanting to do it, so you end up making a worse game because you don't have the money for like all the things. But I guess that happens anyway because you don't have the money for the budget for like all the mechanics you want to develop. I don't know. I don't think it would work, but it's a cool thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is interesting. I do like it.
I mean, right now everything's fucking microtransactions and shit anyway. So.
Yeah, somebody patent microtransactions so we can all just get rid of it. Fuck.
They're in Shadow of War now.
I was listening to that video. Yeah.
You can get in like packs. There's two kinds of currency now, of course, and you can get like orcs that like play into the Nemesis system in packs.
This is a single player game, right?
Boosts. Yeah, but now they added like a Metal Gear Solid 5 base defense multiplayer element where you can like send your orcs to attack other people's online bases, which means now there's a pay to win element in what was a single player game.
I'm so fucking sick of AAA games.
Right?
I'm
fucking sick of them. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Let's play Towerfall, guys.
We should do that though.
They're just
so down.
They try to out fucking shit each other, and
they're out to make money.
I hate it so much.
That's all it is. They're like, we just want to make money, so how can we make this system monetizable? Or,
yeah, how can we put something else in this game that like, none of our fans
Can you
want?
imagine being the guy who like is fucking working on like Halo 8 and you're like so stoked, like you've been a fan of Halo forever, and you're like, man, and they got you working on the fucking microtransaction system, like that's your job, and you're like, I wanted to make shooting, and they're like, no. You think you get to start with shoot? No, get the fuck out of here. Make us money, bitch. That's all it is.
It's the fucking worst. That's why, like, when
you have that job, I'm so sorry.
The indie developers, and they're just making games because they're passionate. And you know what? AAA developers are making games because they're passionate.
Absolver came out.
That's not out yet. It comes out August 29th.
Oh, I thought that was going to be out in the week we left, but never mind.
That was Lawbreakers, which was out the week we left.
Tricked you.
Don't fucking give him a heart attack. Jesus.
Keeping you on.
Dude, don't tell me Absolver's out and I missed it, man.
Well, you missed it. It's still... No, they, like, deleted it. It did so well. Everyone's like, you can't not have this game now, so we're just getting rid of it. Because our systems are just blowing up.
The servers can't.
We can't handle it.
Our systems are in overdrive.
They're in overdrive. We can't afford any. We don't need any more money. We can't sell this.
We made
game.
all the money.
We made
We're
all
done.
of it. We're done. You know what?
We didn't even need microtransactions.
I think everyone who would want this game has bought it. We're done, guys.
We did it.
We did it.
We won game
beat
development.
Video gaming. All the developers high five. All right, shut it down, boys.
We're done here.
Kelly's like about to hit download. They're like, sorry, we won.
But I lost.
Wow. Can't believe you haven't bought this game already. Everyone must own it. Ha 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 ha.
Where were you, on vacation or something?
Yeah.
Yes. I want that game so bad.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be really bad at it, but I just want it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's gonna be a really difficult game to
Yeah.
learn.
It's gonna be like another For Honor situation where it's gonna be like, yeah,
But
and then
better.
everyone's got all the better kicks than you, and they're.
You know what's cool is you can learn those better kicks by fighting against people who have those kicks.
That's cool, I guess.
Because as you block or parry or dodge enemy attacks, you feel like a learning bar about that move.
What if they have an undodgeable, unparryable, unblockable kick, and they're just lucky
You
enough
can
to get
never
it,
learn it.
and you can never learn it.
You just keep
That they
getting
got
hit
in a
by-
random loot box.
and it just fills your screen full of kicks. and you
The 1,000-foot jutsu, and
Exactly.
like it just summons like a million clones.
a giant fucking foot.
just stomps on you
They're like, Absolver, the best martial arts game ever.
of all time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Summon foot. Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, he found the Necronomicon,
You
so.
died.
Yeah, just you died.
So how bad is Lawbreakers?
Yeah, how
Oh,
badly did it do?
I don't have like specific numbers or anything, but
I know
I've
it's
just
bad.
seen that people aren't playing it. Like I've seen a lot of headlines and
Really?
stuff coming up about how it's just not doing very well.
Makes me sad. I'm gonna go buy it right now.
I think I kind of feel like we should.
I want to play it just
Is it
regardless.
full price?
No, it's like $30, $40.
Yo, what?
Because Cliffy B was like, he was on stage. He's like the chillest dude.
He's so dope, and he made Unreal.
And he's on stage.
He's
and
unreal.
He's just like, they're like, yeah, the pricing or whatever. He's like, yeah, like I'm kind of sick of this like full price multiplayer only bullshit. Like, this game isn't $60 because like it's not a $60 game. Like
Yeah.
he said, he called it bullshit on stage like in an interview.
Yeah, because he's dope.
He's like, the game has no campaign. You're just playing it for the online. It's not a $60 game. Like, that's dumb.
Like, we spent a long time making these systems, yeah, but we didn't spend 4 years in development with writing, with fucking story, franchise. No, we just made a video game.
We made mechanics and that was it.
We made
Like,
mechanics and made it look good and put a bunch of levels in it. So we've got microtransactions, I guess, because everyone does.
But like, and like that sucks. But again, his game's like half price from what you would expect.
Exactly.
I think that was American pricing, so it's probably a little more expensive for
yeah,
us.
it's probably like 54.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, as opposed to like the 80 that we normally pay for a fucking
Yeah,
game.
fuck that shit. I'm
Being
so
Canada sucks.
yeah, being Canadian sucks.
Yeah, it's
To
the
be
worst.
really wish we weren't on the brink of a nuclear war.
Fair. To be fair, like the price could be worse because our dollar difference like would actually put the game up to like close to like $90, $100 at like a $60 game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Pretty
guess
sure.
it's just sort of like a set standard.
It's
It's
just
just
like,
like
yeah.
here.
So
It's just like when you hear the prices, you have to be like, oh yeah, it's not actually 60 for me. Like
Yeah.
people in the States are like, oh my god, this is a full price $60 game, and I'm like, $60.
I wish.
$60 was 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
$60 was last generation.
Yeah, basically anything on that I bought on the 360 was like $60. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they're so expensive. But that was before I was like an adult and like had a job that like made
Yeah.
money.
But also before we understood that like it takes a lot of money to make a video game, and like a lot of time they're really actually like
Yeah.
underpriced.
I'm actually really excited that Cliff Bleszinski did this. I'm upset that it hasn't panned out very well for him. I think it's just that Overwatch juggernaut that killed Battleborn as well, right? Of just like, it's somewhat in sort of the same genre and nobody gives a shit right now.
It's been like a year though, and people are still ham on fucking Overwatch.
Well, Overwatch has done a really good job of like releasing, like we're playing again because Doomfist just came out.
and also it's the summer games.
And it's summer games,
Like,
you-
fuck.
Gotta get those fucking loot boxes, man. I need them.
Right? And I'm okay.
I honestly don't care. I have fucking Power Ranger Genji. I will not care about another skin. Like, I don't need one anymore.
I just need Reaper skins, and then
Have you seen his new one for the Summer Games?
He has a summer... guys...
Yeah, he's like a biker with a big cape.
Like a stunt biker one, so he's got like the helmet and like the modern like BMX or not BMX motocross like riding leathers in like
That's
in like
so-
oranges. It's like
Yeah,
all
it's all
orange.
Oh,
With the big black cape with his logo on
His
the back
logo
of
on, like,
it.
the skull goes all the way down to the bottom of the
I
cape.
fucking hate it. I love it so much. I can't believe I haven't fucking played the new Overwatch thing.
But that's the thing, is it's like, Overwatch always, like, feels, like, new, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
a new game every so
Overwatch
often.
has something going for it all the time. Like, when there's not an event, people are, "What?" And then there's, like, a season going on, and then your brother's in the top 500, and you're like,
Well, it's like that whole thing you were talking about. I think it was our last podcast.
Twice.
Where like games don't really get finished now, right? Like they're always getting worked on, and I think like that concept to a degree kind of comes from MMOs when they like every couple weeks you get a new patch because like the game's constantly being played online and just like you have to get to keep it up to date, right? And they're doing that with just games now. They're just doing that, right? And Overwatch is at this point where like I feel like they don't really patch. They do balance because they're constantly like changing characters, but they almost like change it just to go like, hey, what would happen if Junkrat's Riptide moved 30% faster?
and had 2 concussion grenades. What happened if we just made Junkrat
and they just
God?
they just fucking adjust them because
Like,
then
two concussion meds?
like
Yes.
none,
It's in PTR right now.
Oh, god damn it.
like
Yeah,
we don't
and you like can't use abilities when you're in his trap.
Yeah.
Like Junkrat just like became God.
like none of us main Junkrat, but like if I was a Junkrat main, that would then make me go like, oh, I want to try this out now, right? So
I
you
wanna
pop
play-
back on and try it out, and you'd either like it or don't like it, and then
But now you're playing again.
But then that
'cause you put it back in your system.
That creates like conversation or whatever with other players, and someone posts in the forum eventually, and then there's another update. They just like break and they just
Okay,
keep
here's an
doing this.
idea.
I've got an idea.
Stop
Is
playing
it-
Overwatch.
Well, I kind of want to, but I can't.
No, never.
is it-
It's my favorite game.
Is it in a developer's best interests to occasionally, like, intentionally unbalance their game when they know that they can go back and patch it to create a conversation?
I think it makes sense.
Maybe,
Yeah?
right?
Yeah. Just as much unbalanced as in like technically yes, unbalanced, but almost just but more from like a hey, why not?
Well, I should say unbalanced in terms of, like, a game like Overwatch, for
Or,
example,
like-
is never balanced because the whole point is that no one character can beat every other character, right? Like,
Yeah.
it depends. Sometimes you're just going to lose because, like, you just don't have a good matchup. Like,
Junkrat's great, but Widowmaker can still one shot.
Genji, I'm never gonna beat a Winston or a Zarya
Tracer's
in a
great.
one-on-one if they have any
Yeah.
idea what they're doing, just because like the amount of damage and the shields and like the range and everything, like I'll just lose that fight.
Tracer is a really good against a tank, but you got a really shitty Tracer player on your team.
Yeah,
Right,
but
like,
I
it's
mean
just
more.
never
I mean more.
balanced.
Unbalanced, like whatever balance they have, and shifting. For example, Junkrat just being like, we're just gonna make it now so there's a couple characters that he does beat that he didn't before,
Yeah,
right? And moving him up.
up on the tier.
Just not because anybody's been complaining about Junkrat, because I haven't personally seen anybody really complaining about Junkrat. I see him get play the games. He seems like he's pretty in there, doing pretty well.
He does well, and now he's just going to be like everywhere, like Symmetra was.
Fuck,
Symmetra still is everywhere.
I know, and I hate it, but
she's too good.
she's such a melter.
But yeah, is it a good idea to just be like, let's just make somebody stronger for a bit, or let's just make somebody weaker for a bit?
Sure, why
I really
not?
don't overdo it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, except for Roadhog, fuck you guys. I fucking really hate the Roadhog changes.
And that's the thing, is it's that weird thing that we keep coming back to of, like, I bought a game that was like this, and now the product that I purchased has been changed after I bought it.
That's why I've kind of stopped playing Overwatch.
Yeah.
Because I really like playing Roadhog, and now I'm like, it's just not as much fun. I really like getting those hooks. And now it's like, oh, I got it, and they're not dead. They're not dead now. That's the problem. The problem is they're not dead now, and I don't like that.
But
I
do
mean,
you
you could
think
argue-
in any way that like originally that was unfair to other
No.
players?
Just don't get hooked. It's kind of not the easiest thing to do all the time.
Okay.
Brennan, don't test me on this.
No, but that's the point, right? Like, yes, you like the game is changing from how you bought it, but there are other players on the other side.
I don't give a fuck about that.
See, that's the problem.
I've been on both ends of the hook. And
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Maybe you like being on the hook.
You.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute. I was so tempted to like fish hook your mouth, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, on the hook.
Gross.
we both grab one.
Yeah,
Just give
exactly.
him a weird smile.
No. Yeah.
Anybody
so
got any final thoughts on that?
like
I think it's
Roadhog.
cool. I think it makes sense.
What? Nerfing
Being able
Roadhog?
to no,
Oh, just buffing.
also nerfing.
Just
Roadhog,
nerfing
but no.
Roadhog. Fuck him. You know what?
Just
Let's
like
just get him out of the
adjusting
game. We don't need him. Just get rid of Roadhog.
Roadhog.
Make all the characters women. Just remove all the male characters. Have you not seen what's his name talk about that?
No.
The guy who made Jeff Kaplan. He was
The
like,
Dino Flat? Oh.
yeah, they're like somebody. No, it wasn't Dino Flask. It was like literally Jeff Kaplan. He was like answering Twitter or whatever, and he was just talking about. He's like, they're like, yeah, when are you gonna? Well, your last 5 characters have been women. This is like, whatever, and he's like, actually, we have no interest here at Blizzard to make male characters. So we're just gonna keep making females, and eventually we're gonna remove all the male characters as well.
I love Jeff Kaplan.
It's so funny.
Every time I've seen like a Twitter thing of his, it's always him like talking shit with a fan, where someone's like,
so
"Why'd you guys do this?" And Jeff Kaplan's like, "Cause you're a shitty person."
Because we really don't like you. Yeah, I think he's like
So
exactly
funny.
why somebody was defending the Roadhog nerf, and he was like, it's just like we really want Roadhogs to feel
inadequate.
yeah, something like that. I can't remember what he said.
I want you to feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, it's like we just
It's just really funny.
yeah, or maybe he's going like, we don't want you just to be like, oh, they hate Roadhog. It's just a thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but
For the most part, though, I've found that like with Overwatch, there have been some instances where they've adjusted character, and then people are like, "Whoa, no, that doesn't work." Like after like playing for a couple of weeks, they're like, "No, like change it back," and then they'll change
Yeah.
it back. Roadhog, they haven't done that yet, but we'll see.
nobody's complained loud enough.
Maybe you're the only one with the problem.
I might be. Everybody, maybe other Roadhogs are.
I've
just
been out
better
of
than I have.
the Overwatch loop, at least community wise, for a while. That I don't know if people are actually complaining about the Roadhog, but
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I just...
they're just doing everything really well. They just
No, Overwatch is great, but, like, that's another weird thing, is that with all these nerfs and stuff, and, like, I'm the only one who's still attempting to consistently play For Honor, so it becomes a bigger issue for me.
Yeah.
But, like, one of the things that's weird about games that are online, that are also constantly getting these patches and updates and stuff, is if you take any time away,
Yeah.
you have to, like, not just relearn the game, but, like, unlearn
Learn
the
what
game
you
that you
knew.
learned before.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And it's like, it's really bad in For Honor because they've like really changed how some mechanics work, and like I go to do things that like I intellectually know don't work anymore, like they're mechanics that don't function the way they did.
It's such a
But it's such a
thing.
muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, like which mechanics don't work the same? Guard break?
The warden trying to get his if you do the double side light and then the shouldered bash cancel into a guard break.
Yeah.
It used to like basically be guaranteed, but now you can roll away from it. You don't get caught. You can like roll away from the guard breaks easier, essentially.
Oh.
So like my warden combo just doesn't work like it did, and I know that, but I used that so much
That it's like
originally,
ingrained, yeah.
and like they completely changed the stats. So like you have to relearn. Like I was like looking it up, like what do any of these even do now? Because there are some that like are still there that do the same thing. There's some that do different things but are the same name, and there's some stats that are new, and like
Jesus.
and then there's like figuring out what the new meta is because that's shifted,
Yeah.
and you
Everyone's
have to do research to get back into playing
Yeah.
games when they update so much.
Yep. It's like shitty.
I
More
don't think it's-
specifically, I was gonna say I feel like that's also very common with fighting games.
Yeah.
In general,
Yeah.
so like because For Honor
There is a lot of work
kind
in
of
fighting
falls into
games.
that category of fighting games, that
Yeah.
is a very common thing where like
It's
someone who plays competitive
part of
fighting
the
games,
journey.
they have to more of a journey.
It's part of the journey.
Part of the journey.
That's what it's
But
called.
like
when
fighting
get good
fighting
at
games will have to
of course.
look up what the patch was, and they're like, "Okay, now the frame rate on like this character's kick is different." So
Yeah,
I'm
my
gonna
frame
have to-
data is different. Got to get that fucking summon
And
foot
that's-
way better.
That's gotta get that summon foot, and that's I guess a bigger topic in terms of fighting games because like I really enjoy fighting games, but I'm never going to be really good at fighting games.
Yeah. Just too much time.
Yeah.
Too much time, and like there's also like this weird thing with For Honor is a little different because it doesn't play like other fighting games, but like your typical kind of like your Mortal
So
Kombat
it's
or your
more
Street
innovative.
Fighters or whatever. There's a lot of things now that are just part of fighting games. That if you've been playing them at a relatively high level consistently, you just know things. You come into a game and you're like, oh yeah, I can do my cross-ups and I can do this, and like, oh, this game does that mechanic this way. Okay, cool. Like, and I just understand it. There's like a language to fighting games.
We just don't know the genre well enough to
Exactly,
like,
and
know all
like
those
trying to get
things.
into it now because it just keeps building, right? Like you play an old Mortal Kombat and there's so many like stupid infinite combo loops and like
Yeah.
whatever because it was like a lot simpler. It was just like you've got some punches and kicks and you've got some punches and kicks and you just kind of smash the action figures together.
Exactly.
And then and like I played those, and then when I was a kid, and then I didn't really play new fighting games for a while,
Now it's fucking boxing.
and then I got into them
now it is
again
boxing.
yeah.
in the last couple years, and they're this whole new thing with all these elements to them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to fucking do any of this.
They're the most complicated,
scary.
simple genre of video games.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is on the surface, it's like, you mash the action figures together, but there's so much going on underneath the surface.
Yeah, it's
insane.
But I love that, because I think we're getting a little off topic, but I think that says to, like, we're able to just pick it up and play it because it's just smashing action figures together.
Yeah.
But then, like, there is a higher level.
But that's the thing that I was just going to say, because we were talking about online games, and the reason I did segue off topic, but I was going somewhere, and it's just that I almost wish that there was a way, like, you know how Smash Bros has its, like, you can go into just, like, a free battle, and then you can go into, like, your ranked matches, and I know there's, like, ranked matches, but I almost wish there was like a kiddie mode on fighting games online, where a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're doing can just go online into fighting games and have a good time, and the people who understand frame data and combos and shit can actually go and, like, compete.
Yeah.
You know, because I get into a fighting game and I play online.
Pen or deathmatch.
Exactly, because I get online and you've got the people who are following every patch and or whatever, and then, like, I haven't played Injustice in forever, and I want to get back into it, but I know that if I need to either know that you guys want to play it, or go online and just, like, not play the game because I'm playing against a Flash who knows how to keep me in the air the whole game.
Forever. And then you're like, how do I air escape again? And then you're dead.
And then by the time I remember that that's a mechanic, I'm already dead.
And then, then you get to the next match and it's a different player who's not putting you in the air, and you're like, okay, how do I escape from this guy's attacks?
Fuck. How does this guy work now? He keeps baiting me into the... Stop, like, just trying to get close to you.
I just want to play a game.
Yeah. It's a lot of, like...
tough.
Zoning.
And that's to do with that weird update thing too, right? Of, like, if somebody's up to date with the updates, then they have, like, this weird extra advantage on top of just being better than me.
Yeah, it's like you
which
can't
they already
play
are also better than me.
Every online game.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try, because you just don't have the time. Don't have the time, man, to be great at everything.
I don't want to.
I like to experience
if I stopped doing everything else in life, I could probably get really, really good at some fighting games.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to, though.
That's what I'm saying, is I don't want to do
other games.
But that's the problem,
and so many other just things in general.
Yeah,
sorry, guys, can't go camping. There's a tournament going this week. I gotta
follow it. I gotta, like, read up online about the tech. There's gonna be new tech there.
I gotta know the tech.
I know the tech. I can't take a week off Overwatch.
That's the other thing I find is, like, almost to the degree of, like, COD players. I find a lot of fighting game players are fighting game gamers, and that's, like, it.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, they don't really play anything
because
else.
you need to, like, train for that shit, man. Like, it's intense.
Like a fucking sport. Also, one of them's a joystick.
Oh, right,
yeah. He's, like, doing this thing.
Yeah. It's fucking nuts.
The foot comes down. I don't want to spend any time on it, but
Then don't say it.
No, but I just have to tell you guys, it's hilarious. A For Honor player just won, like, they did a big tournament to celebrate the next season coming out.
Yep.
They had, like, a $10,000 prize pool or something.
Fuck yeah,
and somebody won the game by, like, doing, like, exploits and, like, things that have been in the game since day one that Ubisoft has said they're patching. And
no way.
He hadn't played For Honor for a week up to playing in the tournament.
No.
He exploited this thing, and then on the stage, the new creative director who took over for Jason Vandenberg was like, yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to do that soon. You're going to need a new strategy, but, like, get on you or whatever. And the guy was like, no, please don't patch it. And, like, that was how this tournament went down. It was like, yeah, For Honor, holy shit, this game is broken.
Wow. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that soon. Then you should have patched it.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was awful and hilarious.
Funny. What was he doing? Like, throwing people off
There's
bridges?
some exploit that you can do that, like, changes... I don't know how it works, but it, like, changes how the moves interact. Like, you can straight up go through blocks and, like, attack faster than you're supposed to be able to.
Oh, fuck off.
And so he was doing that.
So
and
he was
won.
cheating.
He was cheating, but it's in the game, and he won the prize money, and, like...
Fuck.
Won $10,000. You're not going to be able to do that
and
soon.
To prepare, he hadn't played for a week before going
That's
into the game.
fucking hilarious. That's a big old fuck you, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Good on him, though. Like, way to abuse it for money.
Yeah.
And he's like, please don't patch it. I'm like,
please don't patch it.
Yeah.
I want to win more money off of you.
I think that's us.
Yeah. We complained. We complained for good. Welcome to Stay Indoors, where we bitch about everything.
We didn't bitch. We're talking about fan games being cool.
Fan games are cool.
I had one other thing,
bitch
but
about
I might
forever.
leave it.
No. Share.
Is it related or is it another?
It is
topic?
related. It's
Okay.
related. It's related to the kind of concept you're saying about how like we're all still playing Overwatch like that, and it takes so much time to like learn and unlearn a game when you go to Switch, right? And I was gonna mention like almost the slight idea of brand loyalty, like where like I feel like Overwatch deserves my time
when Overwatch
and my
2 comes out.
gameplay because they're fucking right.
We'll buy it.
Because it's a good game and they keep making it good and they keep making it better and it's great.
Destiny 2?
So there's like
Nope.
a weird part of me that like yeah, like I want to play new games, but then like if I go to play the game and it just isn't as fun as Overwatch is, I'm just gonna go right back to
And then
Overwatch.
that's also because you put the time, like the time in Overwatch, where you feel now like you have a certain level of skill that you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think it's funny because I feel like I don't know. I just like I had this just idea how like millennials don't really do brand loyalty as much anymore. But like if a company gives me a reason to be loyal to them, I'll fucking give them brand loyalty. God damn it.
What are you talking about? I'm super brand loyal. I've been on my 5th shitty iPhone.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
I hate it. I want to get a Samsung something.
Samsung something.
We are GeekGarden.
We are GeekGarden.
And
last time I checked.
You can hang out with us here. If you ever send me the logos and stuff, I can post a video that isn't
No, make your own.
Make your own.
We do have more things coming.
Just crayon.
GG.
Microsoft Paint.
We're on
They were
YouTube.
almost going to cancel that. Sorry.
They did cancel it.
No, but then there was so much lashback. They were like, "Okay, we're keeping it." Lashback.
It works. How can you get rid of Microsoft Paint? It's a fucking like staple.
No, that was
We're
the
gonna
whole
get rid
thing.
of it.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
We're here on YouTube as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Watch us tweet.
Watch us Twitch occasionally as well.
Yeah, you can.
And
GeekGarden TV.
if you are
Twitch.
masochistic and like watching us shout our opinions at you for an
You
hour,
freak.
we do have a Patreon, which I think we want to try to get some more lighting at some point too.
Yeah,
Is that sort of a plan?
it's kind of dull in here.
That's pretty much.
That
the
might just
first
be you
idea.
though.
It's probably just me.
You're just dull. Yeah, because we live in pretty gloomy Vancouver, where even in the summer it's gray.
It's better than smoke.
It's better than smoke, though.
So yeah, even $1 helps us start trying to.
It's $1 closer.
Take along.
That's $1 discount off of our lighting equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
cool.
but the biggest thing you could honestly do is like,
subscribe,
comment, share your thoughts with us, anything you want us to talk about in the future,
Tell your friends.
and
Tell your friends.
share it around.
Yeah, tell all of the friends.
I think we're currently looking for somewhere to upload audio versions of these videos.
Podcast.
Yeah, if you want to take them to go.
We're currently looking at SoundCloud, but if anyone has any suggestions about a good like free podcasting site, let us know.
Yeah,
comment. I would love to. I'll post it anywhere you want.
Well,
Anywhere
yeah,
you want.
We'll do you right.
yeah, we'll put the MP3s online for download if you guys want to take us on the go.
Yeah, and I feel like I had something else I was going to say. Probably wasn't important because I've forgotten. Oh, I was going to make some dumb joke about how, like, we need more viewers because you can't make a garden with only 2 blades of grass. But it was like...
There's 3 of us.
Yeah, I was talking about viewers. I wasn't talking about, like, us.
We've only got 2 views on videos.
No, I was just a general statement. But it was really situational, and then we moved on, but I stupidly brought it up anyway, and now it's just, like, a dumb thing. It was going to be funny, though.
We're not always funny here, and we're sorry.
And you commented on it. We could have just... Man.
Thanks, gardeners.
Bye, green thumbs. I feel so dirty every time.
Is that thing so fucking sad all the time?
I've come to.
That was a really loud laugh.
Oh my god! Welcome to Sean.